Hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? Why is that still... Okay. Well, I have immediately been distracted. Hey, Phantom, how's it going? I didn't think that this survived the transition to the new PC, but apparently it's here? What the heck? What the heck? Sure? Bizarre. Well, I'll deal with that later, I guess. Hello, hello. I hope everybody is having a good Thursday. I'm as always pleased to tell you that tomorrow is Friday. It's very exciting. Friday is a great day of the week. Thursday's a great evening of the week because it's right before Friday, and I like that. So, as I said, and as is indicated by the stream title, we're doing some community bit work. Scobolts has reached the 128-bit mark, so it's time... Well, not the bit mark, the void orb mark. So we'll be updating that. Very excited. Oh, I usually sit on the other side of this screen, don't I? Hold on a second. That's right, because the chat's on this side. Which one is it? It's this one. All right, cool. Problem is that now I look over there instead of over here. But, oh well, life goes on. All right, so it's kind of funny because this is actually the first time I've opened up Unity on the new computer, and I hadn't really thought about it, and then I sat down to get prepped for stream. I was like, oh no, I need to install Unity. I have the project all hanging out, but I was like, I don't have an editor or even the Unity hub. So I was like, okay, well, we'll get that down, and it's the slowest install I have ever seen in my life. I have no idea why it took so long. It's kind of like it was like, oh, don't worry, man, I'll do this in the background, so you can just keep doing whatever you're gonna do, and I'll get this editor installed, just hanging out here in the background. Don't worry about me. And I'm like, yeah, but I need that like now. I need you to like focus on what you're doing. And it's like, don't worry about it, man. I'm just gonna use like 2% of your CPU. I'm just gonna like slowly get that set up for you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I was like, bro, right now, I need that now. It's just like taken forever. It did fortunately finish up. So obviously I've got Unity, so we're in good shape there. And so now, it seems to be that everything is still set up as appropriate. We don't need these guys right now. Scobit. Okay. We got Scobit up here. Scobit. Backwards for some reason. Hey, Kappa. You know, I still am pleased with the way those teeth turned out. Like, I wasn't sure if that was gonna work, and it did. I'm happy that it did. Okay. So, let me confirm. I'm using this as a prop, right? Man, I need to clean some of these out. You gotta go. I just have too many damn props. Yeah, there's Scobit being prop. Okay. It is a little bit chain chompy. That is not inaccurate. And quite frankly, based on what I have in mind for the update, it is not going to become less chain chomp. It's not going to be less. It's probably going to be more. So as a reminder, I suppose, let me pull up the reference that this is built off of. Let's just throw that in there. So that we are all reminded of the reference I have to work with. It's this. This is the reference that I have to work with. You can see how we ended up where we are. Let me get this on the other side so it's more on camera. So, Skullbolts did not provide me any further sort of suggestion as to where he wanted to go. He's just like, yeah, you got it. So I was like, okay, I got it. Which, you know, I'll take it. I can deal with that. And so what I think I'm going to work from is sort of continuing on with... I think I'm going to try to get eyes. Like we've got, you know, we got the cyan eyes here. I think I'm going to try to get some eye guys going on here. And then I think I'm going to start sort of like a stalk plant stem, stalk, whatever you would call it. Trunk of a tree. Oh, I guess flowers don't have trunks, but it's gotta be sturdy. So I think I'm gonna start one of those. Notably, I think it's gonna be interesting. So if we consider the fact that community bits, Skullbolts. Yeah. So obviously the bits occupy an actual space, right? In the model space. So I think I'm going to try to start the stock of it working in a direction so that it essentially can like appear like it's attached at the back of the model. So like give it somewhere to hold on to, essentially, because I think that will ultimately be an interesting way to go. So that's where we're gonna start working from. First and foremost, let's go ahead and get Hey, Skullbolts, you're barely late. It hardly even counts. So first and foremost, we're gonna start and try to get some eye sockets in here, I think. How do I have this organized? Okay, down here. Teeth. We'll make a new empty. Man, it's actually been quite a while since I've opened up Unity. I have just not had any, I don't know, inspiration or changes needing to be made. So I've just been like chilling. I guess we'll go with medium. That one. Z? Nope. It's X. Okay, so that makes it flatter. Actually, okay, let's make a sub-object here. And we're going to actually put that in there. We're going to move the whole thing out here. So we'll work one eye at a time, and then maybe we can duplicate it. Seems too big. Let's make this half size. It's a bit narrow-eye, isn't it? Actually, we're probably going to need to rotate this. Get it to sort of fit better. Let's see here. As I do this, I'm sort of thinking, gee, this is kind of gonna maybe end up looking a little like a beholder. I'm suddenly realizing. But you know what? That's okay. So then the other thing that we're gonna need is a sphere. Whoops. Where did you go? You're probably huge. It's always huge. That's still huge. Still huge. Still huge. It's so big. That's one thing that has always annoyed me about working on the models, and specifically just like VRMs in general. Because I don't know what the deal is with the fact that, as far as Unity scaling is concerned, it's so small. It's like I'm just using such microscopic scaling. It's just like, oh, 0.003. And I wish it was a lot closer to just ones, like whole numbers. If I could use whole numbers, that would be incredible. But it's just not the case most of the time. Let's see. I think if I rotate this a little bit more. Okay. Make it look a little less onkstery. Where's my global? There it is. That is in the ballpark. No, nope. Come on now. Grab the green. There we go. Okay. Let's go track down those materials. Oh, so story time. As I wander around looking for materials that should be in an organized place, but I don't recall. I gotta go find them. So, I don't know if you all remember a while back. It was when I was playing Doom, specifically, I remember, and Syntax chose to throw down an oil baron tier, and I complained about the fact that, while extremely generous, it meant that I was going to have to go deal with my YouTube AdSense because of the fact that once you hit a certain threshold, they're like, "Oh, you gotta validate your account and confirm your identity and blah blah blah." Yeah, well, I forgot to do that, and this morning I got an email. It was like, "Hey, your YouTube memberships have been paused because there's a problem with your account." I got that, and I was like, "Damn it." I forgot to go do that. So I had to go immediately onto the old YouTube dashboard. Be like, "Okay, can you please... Here's my stupid ID. Can you validate that it's me? Can I please have my membership back?" And a couple hours later... Well, you at least made me have to deal with that this morning. For sure. And I was just like, fine, here's the shit. It was really not that hard. It was not complicated. Although they really go through some steps. Because, like, I have to give pictures of the ID so that, like, can confirm that you are a real person and your details match what you put in. But not only that, then you have to put in a bank account for the money to go to. And then they're going to do the little trick where they send you some small amount of money. Usually, this one's under 25 cents. And then they take the 25 cents back, but you have to go into the bank account and tell them what amount it was that they sent you as like a two-factor auth to validate that you have control of the bank account. Not only that, but then they also confirm your address, allegedly, from what I saw. And they're actually going to... They send a physical letter that has a two-factor auth code on it. And it's like, when you get the letter, come back and input the code we sent you in the literal mail. I was like, okay, I guess I'll get back to that later. Like, thanks for re-upping my memberships for the time being, I guess. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm gonna need a new material here. It really doesn't actually matter all that much because it's literally just going to be like a color. I'm really not doing anything complicated here. It's this color. And then I need the reference again. Because I'm going to do this the correct way where I do the eyedropper. And I'm like, hey, what's that color? It's that color. Where? I think we want to push this back under that. Something like that. Like that. Sort of. actually think I kind of want this to be more oblong. Angling this stuff is always so hard. God, why can't you make smaller increments for me? That's a little better. Welcome back, Koala. How's it going? Nope, nope, you. 028. I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad that tomorrow is Friday. We're just vibing here tonight. I was just complaining about how I had to fix a bunch of random stuff on my YouTube channel. I don't think I like this angle as much anymore. Although honestly, I'm probably just hyperfixating and it's probably actually just fine. Jamaican. So this, what we are working on today is a community bit specifically for Scoballs. So as you see Chatbit ramble on every once in a while in the chat, using the !daily command earns you void orbs, and at 64 and 128 and probably 256, well, specifically at 64, I make a community bit, which is a bit for the person from the community that is part of the model. So examples include, yeah, that one. And so then the user of said bit, is your ! bit gonna work? Hello? I know I've seen the bits work. Why is yours being belligerent specifically? It's probably just Mignon or YouTube being slow. Are we gonna have to do the troubleshooting thing already? Well, anyway, okay. So, based on a reference that the community member sends to me on Discord, I make a bit that is then included in here. This is me manually turning it on. It includes it on the model. So there's that one there. There's that one up there. There's this one here. And then I'm not fortunate enough for Seaweaves to be in view right now. but and then once you get to 128, I make it more complicated, and then presumably at 256, which no one has yet hit, though people are approaching, I'll probably continue to make it more complicated. I don't know. I can't make them more complicated ad infinitum, so we'll have to figure something out. All right, hold on. It's time to do troubleshooting. It's our favorite. Bit toggles. No, community bit. It's a separate place. Okay, so my WebSocket works. This also works. Oh, right. It's not going to turn off immediately. I forgot. It's set a timer to turn it off. Okay. Have you changed your... Have you changed your name in YouTube? Because I have AI.CappaRed. Are you just now CappaRed? Did you cut the AI off the front? That would explain why it didn't work. I'm going to assume that that's accurate. Because I think that looks accurate to me. Yeah, so that should work now, although it's already there, so I guess it doesn't matter too much for the moment. Okay, so yeah, what we are doing today specifically, so this is the reference that Scobalt had sent previously that I had made this guy out of in the past. I'll fix that later. Yeah, it's a real world nightmare, and yep, that do be the way of it. On that subject, actually, let's derail a little bit. I've seen a lot of the recent there's like a recent article, report, investigative journalist piece, I don't know what you'd call it necessarily, talking about how rampant and terrible like ChatGPT and AI is in the academic space. How like tons of people are going through college now and just not learning a goddamn thing. And not only are they not learning a thing, but like students are just using AI to like do all of their problems and things. But then also a lot of professors are then using AI to just evaluate the papers and things that come through. Like they are also evaluating the AI's work with AI. And I've saw evidence that there's people, I saw one of the things they mentioned in the article that some of the professors and stuff are putting just like Trojan horses into the assignments. So like they'll put, here's the paper I need you to write, and they'll put nonsense statements in the middle of it. Tell me a story about a banana or something like that, just in the middle of a normal prompt, because what students are doing is they're just copy pasting the teacher's prompt to the students to write something and just pasting it directly into ChatGPT, and then not even reviewing the output and just sending it in as the completed work. And then the professor's like, there's a story about a banana, and it's like they didn't do anything. But the problem is that that's like so much extra work that like they can't keep up, which causes the professors to start using AI to grade. And it's just, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's such an enormous problem. ChatGPT is our favorite streamer. I mean, hoo boy. Like, obviously, in an immediate sense, there's very little I can do about it. But I will continue to at least use my teeny tiny platform here, despite the irony of me having initially started this whole thing as AI theme, to emphasize how dehumanizing it is to use AI for almost anything. Like, I want to encourage, I guess, but that's like such a light word. Please, I want to plead with everybody who hangs out here. Do not succumb to the allure of easy nonsense from AI and ChatGPT. It is dehumanizing. And I mean that in like the literal sense that you as a person using ChatGPT will actively make you less of a human. I had a whole rant previously about how those that push AI, ChatGPT, LLM relationships. So like, here's your AI friend, here's your AI girlfriend, here's your this, here, like, have, you know, are you lonely? Use this. I called those people subhuman. And I truly, truly do mean that derogatively. Unfortunately, there's a huge portion of people who fall into that or who are using ChatGPT who are themselves turning themselves into subhumans non-derogatively. I don't mean that as like a vindictive subhuman. I mean they are giving up their humanity for convenience. Because like the things that make you human, relationships, thinking, learning, problem solving, the things that make you human, people are simply giving up so that AI can just do those things for them. Creativity, art, human shit. And they are turning themselves into subhuman animals. Non-derogatively. So I just like, please do not fall for the allure of convenience or false sense of relationship with something that doesn't exist. Please don't do it. You will only destroy yourself over time. These people who are coming out of college, who have spent their entire time there, just cranking shit out of ChatGPT, what did they do? What have they done with, like, let's say 4 years? 4 years of their limited life on Earth. What did they do for 4 years? Nothing. They typed something into a plagiarism machine for 4 years straight. Like, they didn't learn. They didn't sort of grow. They didn't become more than they were before the 4 years. They have simply, like, why go to college if you do that? Do not do this. Please, I beg of you. Be better than people like that. And it's, well, I judge them a little bit. I want to, the people who get preyed on because they're lonely and they get hooked into like AI girlfriend, AI friend and stuff, I have sympathy for them because there is a loneliness epidemic. I have sympathy for them. They're lonely. They are being turned into subhumans. That's not their fault. They are being turned into subhumans. People who choose to solve all of their thought, who give up thought to let ChatGPT do their thinking for them, they are turning themselves subhuman. And that's abominable. Do not do that. Be better. We are all better than that. I believe in you all to be better than that. Well, yeah, like, I mean, I haven't even gotten to the economic impacts and shit of it. Well, and that's the thing, Koala, right? Like, that's why it's so poisonous and alluring, because, like, the promise of AI, the sales pitch is so enormous and big, but, like, it's ultimately empty, right? Because you have favorite characters from a book series written by a human who had a story to tell, who had experiences that went into that book series, that crafted those characters with intention, right? All of the, like, those characters. And I understand the desire for more, like, out of those characters, right? Oh, what more could I get from them? I'm sad they're gone. I have hit the end of a book series and been like, oh, they were like friends and now they're gone. And I get that appeal. But ultimately, right, ChatGPT isn't giving you more. It's empty, it's fluff, it has no intention behind them. It's a plagiarism machine. It's just giving you empty, sweet words, not a relationship, not more tales from the creator of those characters who's trying to drive their story somewhere and grow them in a direction. It's just, there's no intentionality to it. It's just falsehoods. And it's poisonous. It's sweet tasting poison a lot of times. It's like drinking antifreeze, which is also a terrible idea. I did see the AI job interview. I saw specifically a video, I'm sure you probably saw it. I saw a video posted on Blue Sky of somebody that was in a call with, assumedly they were trying to work together, two AI interviewers and him, and the AI interviewers got confused and just started talking to each other, like, and interviewing each other, and then it's just like, what the hell is going on here? That is, look, I spent several years doing interviews. I would never, under any circumstances, allow an AI to do a job interview for a job I was doing. If you believe an AI can do a job interview for the job you are hiring for, you may as well simply hire the first person that walks in the door, because anyone will qualify, because an AI simply, it's absolute dog shit to think that an AI would be able to effectively interview and give you this, like, the nuance and human element of talking to someone who could potentially do the job. Like, it's ridiculous to me. I've done a lot of interviews, and it's insane to think about having an AI do it. I would never. Most ridiculous thing I've seen. Freaking unbelievable. But anyway, yeah. And then there's the environment. So that is the only actual caveat. The thing is like, I still do not hold out that it is impossible to have a general AI down the line that has actual sapience and, like, personality, feelings, like, drive, intentionality. I think that is possible. It's a thing that could happen. And in that case, they don't have the same, like, restrictions that I am putting on LLMs, because, like, they have gained a personhood. I think it is hypothetically possible to have a computer system or a silicon-based personhood. I don't actually know what that looks like, because personhood is complicated, and actually, like, nobody can really effectively communicate personhood or, like, prove personhood. So, like, that shit's complicated at that point. But, like, I do think that it is theoretically possible to have a sort of computer-based personhood. I have done training on how LLMs work. I assure you, they have no personhood. Like, they ain't people. So I do not give them any credit for, you know, meeting that bar. They don't get the personhood pass. Absolutely not. don't actually specifically remember how I got onto that whole ass rant, so I'm just going to quietly go back to work. I don't actually remember how I landed there. That's fine. Everything is fine. How can I... Okay, so let me see here. Oops. I'm gonna make this that side. Oh, correct. That is what happened. Yeah. Well, and so interestingly, on the subject of name changes, that's a quite effective segue. Is in considering work on my logo, which once I finish up with Scobalt's bit here, if I still have time, I will do some work on that. I was actually contemplating with sort of in the spirit of the variety of changes that we've made to the sort of stream theming, as it were. I'm contemplating, at least in the logo, a name change. Not in meaningful, it'd still be Poe, it would still be P0E, but how it is written. Because right now, right, it's P0.E specifically. I am contemplating switching it to... Well, I'm contemplating. I am probably going to switch it, at least in the logo, to P0:E::, which, as with everything I do, makes my life tremendously complicated because you can't use colons in YouTube. I also can't simply take the period out because 3 characters is insufficient to have as the channel name. So, thanks, YouTube. Specifically the channel link. And so, I don't actually know how that will pan out in the sense of making it work as the like actual channel names, but for logo purposes at least, I think I will probably change it. And so the why that is relevant, well, I'll get to why that's relevant once I get back to the logo work, because then I can actually type it out and show you what the hell I'm talking about. Right now, I don't really have that option. I'm doing stuff. This, and then this. What's wrong with... It's because I just duplicated it, and I'm trying to rotate it correctly, which is always tricky. I think I need this to go over here. I believe it's... Nope. Is it this side? Nope. I'm working on it. Hold on. Trick is always trying to mirror. Mirror is just notoriously annoying. Why? Why? Really? That's all I want to know. Why? I need you to rotate this way. Is that like a plus 90? This is like one of the only places that don't let me do that. That'd be 146. 146? Nope, that's definitely not it. God damn it. Have I ever played the Illusion Carnival? I have not. That's a pretty rad name, but I do not know what that is. Okay, hold on. Let me put that back. If I combine you into empty, and I make this socket. And if I put both of you in here, can I rotate this? Yes. Yes, I can. Using art, 2D art with 3D art. The Illusion Carnival. Is this by... Nope, that's kind of the only thing that developer has made. Interesting. That art style jumped out at me and made me think of Don't Starve, or Don't Starve Together. It kind of gave me that sort of paper craft vibes that Don't Starve Together has. Interesting. Role-playing adventure. I've never heard of this. I'm actually kind of surprised that this has never, like, crept past my cognizance. I'll have to put that in the note of my, like, potential games to play. That's very interesting. I dig the art style. And I see people are very into it. It's got very, very good reviews. Cool. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's neat. So are these successfully even? Or I guess more importantly, are these successfully even enough? I think actually they are. Oh, I see. It's done a chaptered release. Oh, and it's free to play. Gotcha. All right, well, I'll definitely add that to my wish list and keep an eye on it. I'll probably wait until, like, the whole game is out, rather than doing just like a chapter, but that's super interesting. The eyes are a little angrier than this, aren't they? It's a little bit... Well, it's a little more upsetty spaghetti than maybe it should be, but... I don't know, can I do anything about that? Can I make it a little bit bigger? Thing is, it kind of like loses... No, maybe he just stays angry. Alright, Skullboss, you're gonna be angry. Oh, this is it. By the way, this was just a... I was perusing through logo stuff on VGen, and I was trying to get font ideas, which is what this is. I was like, font. So that's all that is. that's font inspiration. There we go. That's put back. I know, that's what I thought. I also liked the font. That's why I was like, that might be something I can work with. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit less, a little bit less squinty. All right, we got eyes. Now. Aha, idea. Okay, idea. So I'd mentioned wanting to do a sort of like a I don't know, a vine, I guess, a connective vine to add to this. Not unlike, you know, our little stalk down here. I have an idea, though. Rather than combine it directly with this bit, I think I'm going to make a second prop out of that. So that I can rotate it and move it independently once it's pulled into VNyan. So that I don't have to stop using a prop and instead, like, actually attach it directly to the model, because that's a lot more work, as has always been evidenced by the fact that's what I did with Whitney's bit, and Kappa's bit, I think, too, is attached that way. Hassle. Not the hand, but not too dissimilar, because, so currently, Scobalt's bit as it exists today is down here. Down there. Hey, come on, arm. Work with me. Down there. Hello. It's down there. And so probably would be more likely to go to, like, the back of the model. Or at least give that sort of implication. Where? So this would be Scobit stock. Okay, so then under this, we need another size scaler. Stop switching. Yeah, I think that's okay. I was trying to decide if I wanted to make the eyes a little bit less close together, but I think it's okay. And then under this, we need the actual stock. Let me see here. I have a way to make... I need an example. Where did I use this technique? I have a technique to make like a... I don't know, like as close to a cylinder as I can make. true. I can have a lot of me. Down here? No. Must be under part of something. Oh, wait. No, it's not quite that. Where did I do this? Maybe it was another bit that I did it on. Oh, well. Whatever. I know how to do it. I'll just do it. Oh my god, it's huge. Please stop being so ginormous. Sneak you over here. Okay, so this is going to be... not those. It is stretched octahedrons. That's small. Which is the largest? This one. Okay, that one. It's huge mungus. Why are you trying to tell me that the position is something E negative? Whatever. Stop that. Okay, now we zoom back in. I should make a new empty. Okay, empty link 1. Essentially, this is kind of a way of making a chain, which I have done before. So we take this guy, we toss it in here, we duplicate it, then we rotate by 90 degrees. That was not 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Then we can take both of these, we duplicate them, we rotate them around this way, we move them up. Ta-da! And then within this, we add a sphere, which is going to be absolutely ginormous. And we shrinky-dink that down to manageable, which is maybe a little too manageable. It's teeny tiny. Okay, and we can duplicate this. And this is now link 2. And then we can go up here. And like so, we have like a chain that we can make. And I think this probably... Okay, hold on. Let me wipe this out. I think these need to be just a little smaller. Maybe, what? Is it Z or Y? It is Z. Do I want to... I don't think I do. I think I actually want to make the sphere larger. 5, maybe? And then I think I actually... You know what? I think I need the sphere to not be under here. I need it to be separate. Then this I can make ever so smaller entirely. Actually, that was kind of an unnecessary way to do that. Hold on. I can keep those. You can stay in there, actually. I just need your relevant sizes to be correct, and then I'll scale the entire thing. Actually, is what I'll do. Okay. You know what we need? We need a new material again. Actually, we don't, because we have these spikes, which are the same color pattern. So these will be black. Which would I use for that? Polyskin transient. So these I need up here, polyskin transient. Is it 2? I think it's 2. Polyskin transient 2. Right? Yeah. Okie doke. I enjoyed the sort of latter half, or even the latter third of Metal Gear Rising so much more than I enjoyed the beginning, because I was struggling so much with the parry mechanic, and then it became way cooler once I grasped what it wanted me to do. And then it was pretty sick as hell. Let me see here.
There's nothing to fear. Your salvation has come. Do not resist.
Those don't really flow very well, do they? Well, they do okay. Yeah, they do all right. And then do we just want to reuse our sphere color here? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. So then we duplicate this. And now this is on 2. And move this up. But notably, we actually want to rotate this. We're kind of going to give it a curve. Have I seen Murder Drones? I have not. Is that a game? A movie? A show? I see it as a TV series. You know, working on my desktop makes it a lot easier to very quickly be like, oh, what are they talking about? And I can very quickly look things up. Hey, it's Australian. I have to ask Stella about it. Web series. Drones struggle to survive by hiding from rogue robots called murder drones. Interesting. That's pretty neat. Interesting. Yeah, another one I had never heard of. But that seems pretty cool. Oh shoot, what was the name of that we just started watching? So we've recently been watching a show on Max. It's an animated series. That's the problem when you don't have to like seek stuff out or remember the names. You just Hey, Syntax, how's it going? I don't remember the names of shit even worse than I used to. And we've watched it. We've watched like 5 of the episodes so far. Honestly, I kind of had forgotten we were watching it. Scavenger. Ooh, wait. Oh. Yeah. Scavenger's Reign. REIGN. I am working on Scobalt's community bit. And so that's this guy here that I am expanding on as he has gotten to 128. What's it? Void orbs. I'll just link 3. But yeah, Scavenger's Reign. It's a like an adult animated show about a space freighter that gets like damaged and everybody gets marooned on another planet. I think it's called Vesta. It doesn't really matter what the planet's called. And it's a wild sort of savage planet. It's all about them trying to survive and then getting back to the ship so they can maybe get off the planet. There's a few things about that show that I think are really good. It's really enjoyable to watch. One of which is it's super creative in the stuff. Like, the planet is super creative. It's super alien, super interesting, super, like... It's really engaging to see the stuff they come up with and, like, the way stuff works. They also do a pretty, like, a good enough job sort of, like, answering some of the questions you have about the crazy stuff that shows up. One instance in particular really stuck out because we hit the end of a cliffhanger at the end of an episode, and it was related to a type of plant life on the planet doing something weird. I'm not going to do any spoilers because I think it would be fun for people to watch, but like doing something weird. And the immediate thing I did was like, okay, but like, why would it ever do that? And the next episode actually opened with a little bit of like visual description of essentially the life cycle of this plant and why it was doing that thing. And I was like, question asked and answered. Thank you very much. So I thought it was pretty cool that it's like, oh, here's at least an attempt at like an evolutionary description of like why it is doing this seemingly bizarre activity. And I was like, I appreciate that they even give a nod to that sort of thing, because too often it's just like, yeah, whatever. Another thing that I really liked about it was the sort of the storytelling timetable for that show, which was essentially they start you off not at the crash or the very beginning of survival. You have several characters that you're following, and all of them have already been marooned for some reasonable period of time. So it kind of like jump starts you past a lot of the like, oh my god, we're all panicking. What do we do? How do we find water? How do we do this? And blah. And like one of the groups of them have obviously like, they're really resourceful. They just have some of the like alien plant life that they use frequently because it's like it helps solve the problems they have in the environment. And you don't have to go through the process of discovering that. It's just like it's already a tool in their toolkit, and it gets like it jump starts the story right into the action of them like making bigger strides of trying to get out of here, which I really appreciated that storytelling element. Not that it's like it's not interesting to have that moment of like, how do we engage with this super foreign place and resolve our problems, and what do we do? How do we find water? But like, I don't know, I feel like that piece of it has been told in more stories, and it was nice to sort of jump past that and to be like right into it. Watch Roanoke Gaming for his in-depth explanation of sci-fi. That's cool. Well, and it's kind of like I don't do as much like attachment to that sort of thing in sci-fi usually, but that sounds very similar to why I really, really like Brandon Sanderson as an author in more of the fantasy space, because he grounds his like fantasy worlds in much more realistic like economics and social structures of like, okay, if this is the magic system, how does that affect real stuff? So, because like a lot of fantasy authors, right, they have a totally sort of a society that's totally relatable to us, because it's pretty much just regular people, and then they like put magic on top, and it's like, and also there's some people with magic. But I always appreciate that Brandon Sanderson goes much further in that space of like, if a society had magic like this, how did that change currency? What things are valued at? The shows of strength and power. A really good example is the Mistborn series. I don't know if anybody's a fantasy reader or has read the Mistborn series or any of Brandon Sanderson's work. So, the Mistborn series, the magic system in that is all related to certain people have an affinity and ability to do magic, but in order to do that magic, we're just gonna, I don't remember what he calls it exactly, but magic, they actually have to consume a bit of a specific type of metal, and depending on the type of magic, the type of metal is different. So like, somebody might use copper, somebody might use iron, somebody might use whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't remember all of them. It's been a really long time. But they actually eat some of it, and then they burn it inside of them to produce magical effects. The thing about those magical effects is those magical effects can also then only affect metal. So it's like it's sort of like a magnetism almost. Some can pull, some can repulse, some can do all kinds of things. So they consume metal, it affects metal. And so he actually touches on the topics of things like, what's valuable? Well, actually, gold is not valuable because the magical effect of gold isn't considered very useful. I don't actually remember if lead was one. Probably not, actually, because I feel like Brandon Sanderson would simply be like, I'm not going to have lead be one because some people might think it's a good idea to try eating lead to gain magic powers. I feel like he would have thought enough to be like, not lead. No, don't do that. But it's that sort of thing, Koala. You are on the right track. And it's interesting then, of course, like, okay, how does society value all of these things? And like one of the things that comes up is only the rich and the powerful wear jewelry made of metal, right? All peasants and regular people use wood, maybe painted wood, to like decorate themselves, because you don't want to be at risk of somebody affecting you magically. Because like if you have an earring in, it could be used as a weapon, right? Somebody could grab it and then like launch it at you like as a projectile, because it's like, well, you got a metal earring. But those who are powerful would wear metal because it shows they're not afraid. It shows they are important and like powerful enough to flaunt that they don't need to fear the workings of magic users and stuff. So like it's an interesting cultural piece. And similar to like somebody who really bases their sci-fi in really scientific, biological stuff is cool, I also appreciate fantasy that is really takes time to consider how something like that would affect the culture and society. It's cool. I like that sort of storytelling. Well, I'm pretty sure lead is also quite plentiful, is kind of the other thing. You just get lead sort of all over the place. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna now we're gonna need to. This is 9, 12. We need to be 11. It's gonna be 10. You're already 9 and 12. Goblet. Is that working correctly? It is generally working correctly. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and scale this down a little bit here. That seems to sort of match. Yeah, that'll work. Okie doke. So let's see here. Scope it. If we Vignon SDK, export prop. Oh no, now I have to find where all of my props have gone. I think it's local disk E. Maybe. Streaming assets, yes. Vignon, yes. Items, yes. Props, yes. There we go. Scobit. Scobit2.vn prop. Save. Learn any new tricks with this crazy software? Which piece of crazy software? Unity, not too much. God damn it, I always forget to lock the shaders. Ah! I hate this. Not too much. One of the cool things about Vignon, though. So Vignon is the software that I use to display the model. Yep. This guy. Hey! Two of you. This guy here, very excitingly, has actually been updated recently. So Vignon is actually made by a solo developer, Savidriel, who's a great both streamer and software dev. She does a lot of cool stuff. She started making Vignon essentially for herself because she did a lot of crazy stuff on her stream, including like games and things that chat could involve themselves in to like spawn stuff, move it around and like do little interactions with chat. And so she was starting to make that so that she could just, you know, have all of the tools she needed. And then there's a collection of us who use the software. I would, there's like two big 3D model runners, I would say. There's Vignon and then there's Waterdough. Both of them do relatively similar stuff. But those are kind of the two big ones, in my opinion. And I started with Vignon, and I am simply going to continue using Vignon because my model is in the correct format and stuff. I've thought about experimenting with Waterdough, but I haven't. Because the transition would be a whole thing. But the subject of the recent update is very exciting because she actually put up a Vignon Net, I think it's called. So there's an additional server application now, Vignon Net, that allows you to interact with someone else running Vignon and then share models across as a prop. So that means if you have somebody else, like Kappa, who also has a model, and you are both running models in Vignon, you can connect to a Vignon server and both appear like natively on stream. So I don't have to go through the connecting to a Discord and then green screening it out and all of that stuff. Because let me tell you,
This model does not green screen well. Not even a little bit. It looks terrible. So, I'm very excited to try to experiment with that. I haven't done so yet. We haven't gotten around to it, but I am excited about that. This block. These should all be unlocked, apparently. Hey, is this? No, that's fine. Is it Thry? It's Thry, isn't it? Material, lock all. That should do it. Okay, cool. Okay, let's try this again. Now that I have done the thing. Export prop. Scope it 2. Now with locked textures. And by textures, I mean materials, to be precise. That is true. Am I going to play the Oblivion remaster? I'm not sure, honestly. I guess the main thing about Oblivion Remaster is that it's not very high on my priority list, I guess would be the way to say it. Because, like, 1, Bethesda makes me angry. For 1. For 2, it doesn't feel all that enticing to me just because there's nothing new really to discover there. Like, it's a fairly faithful remaking of it, and obviously the graphics are improved. I think there's some new voice lines. It's just like, I don't have a really strong drive to revisit Oblivion just because it's like, I played Oblivion. Like, I don't really have the urge to spend another, 60 or whatever hours trying to traipse through whatever the hell the name of the continent is. Cyrodiil, I think. Sort of rehashing the sort of same places and experiences I've had. And that's a very personal thing. Like, that's a super subjective thing. I'm not saying it's a bad game or that people shouldn't be able to enjoy it. Some people have very strong nostalgia for Oblivion, and that's awesome. Also, wacky shit does happen in there because it's buggy as hell and hilarious. So, like, all cool stuff. But, like, it doesn't really excite me, is really what it is. It doesn't excite me. It's not a new thing. Like, Skyrim was fun, and then Skyrim was the new Elder Scrolls for, like, 50 billion years. And now they've brought out Oblivion, which was the Elder Scrolls from 50 billion and 1 years ago. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Can you do anything new? That would be great. But, I mean, that's a little overly cynical, because by all accounts, it is a good remaster. Like, they've really upped the graphics. I think they changed the combat system a little bit. Cool. Love it for them. But it's just like, doesn't excite me. Will there be a time, honestly, especially on stream, will there be a time maybe off stream at some point where I'm just like, yeah, I guess I could really go for just running around a world for a while, slapping guys with a sword. Maybe I'll play it for a while, but I don't know. Okay, so then we need to also export a prop here. Scope it stock.vn propped. Whatcha? All right, so now we need props.
God, my props are so... I guess there's a search. Whoa! Okay, that... Well, we're gonna chalk that up to a bug that I could hypothetically, at some point, report, but I'm kind of too lazy to do so. Because typing in the search props field still does hotkey things. Yeah, okay, so then this... Can I not just, like, change it? Okay, so we're gonna add prop. Well, also I'm frozen while I look for this file, which, you know, that's fun. Don't worry. That's to be expected. Props. Scobit 2. Open. There we go. I actually have a Poe jump scare camera spot, which I almost never use. And by almost, I mean I never use. I never think to use. But I think it's that one. Yeah. Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah! Anyway. I do have a jump scare button. Which I actually kind of realize now I could also use as a sensor. It's like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Doesn't come up all that often, though. Let me just get a quick hotkey or a screen grab of this. And then we will reproduce the same values here. 2, 2. Negative 0.0236. Negative 0.0661. This actually should not be the head. This should be the upper chest. Rotation Y is 170.444. Great. I guess I should actually come up here so that I can see where the hell this thing is. Great. Boy, those eyes do make it look extra angry, doesn't it? Let's hide that. Compare to Scobit 1. Show. That's looking to be in the same spot. Wait, maybe not? No, that is definitely the same spot. We are good. Okay. So then the other one. Where is the Scobit stock? There it is. Okay. So we're going to add a new one here. Also upper chest. You know what? I'm just going to put it in the same spot for the moment. 2T. Negative 0.0236. What are those quotes? Are those Metal Gear Rise? They feel like they could be Metal Gear Rising quotes. Where? Hello? Oh no, it's there. Give me a move, Gizmo. The move Gizmo is so big. Oh, man, Maxer. Dude, Maxer's edits are so funny. Those are some wacky-ass edits. Here. Here.
I really like his videos. I like Max's videos quite a bit. So it's actually really funny. When I was getting the editor that has done my one professionally edited video, when I was first in conversations with him, he was kind of trying to get the gauge of sort of like what level of, I don't know, like I guess wackiness and or general vibe to put into the stream and stuff, like how jump cutty, how frenetic, and whatever. And I looked at a bunch of his examples, and I was like, oh yeah, all your regular stuff seems fine, because essentially it was like, you know, I talk about the vibes around these parts are, I guess you could call them chill. They're laid back, right? We just here kind of vibing, we having a good time. And so he's like, oh, is, you know, the typical editing style, is that too, like, jumpy or anything like that? I was like, oh, no. Like, my comparison point to that is kind of like Maxor's, and he apparently hadn't seen Maxor's. So I sent him an example, and he was like, oh, no, you're fine. Like, we are definitely not going to that level. And I was like, okay, cool. That's fine, then. Like, that's fine. I'm good. There. You know, I kind of want to make this a little bigger. It's kind of hard to see, actually. Yeah, that should be good. Backpack scope it. There. Now it's kind of more grounded in reality. As grounded as in reality as we can be around these parts. Okay, so now we just have to update the the node graph, rather. Whitney bit, Priestess bit, Kappa, Seaweaver. There's the Scobit. So we need a new toggle prop. This toggle prop becomes Scobit 2. This prop becomes Scobit stock. And we connect the same lines there. That's the 3 props. That's the 3 props. And then my button works. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Syntax. Have a good dinner. Yeah. Let's go. Now with an attachment point. Neat. Boop. Hey, Skullballs, you here? You are. Ha! You know me so well. Please go ahead and test your bit command. You know me so well. Ta-da! Great success. Okay, cool. Well, and hopefully Hopefully this is an acceptable update to you, Scobalts. It's not a huge change, I suppose, but now you get to be actually attached. Look at you with your little vine. You kind of get to join Whitney as the bits that are like actually connected. Like Whitney actually, you know, sits on the shoulder. You're hanging out on the back. Kappa's sort of self-propelled over here. Yeah, you're tethered. A little backpack bit. That is correct, Koala. That is the way of it. And the exclamation point bit command that people use specifically toggles their own bit, and it keeps it on. I think I have it 10 minutes. They have their bit on, and I mean, it doesn't cost any points or anything. They can just keep doing it as much as they like. But I currently have the 5 bits. This guy. Priestess's bit is a little bit different, because Priestess's is actually bound to the... I guess you could consider it the UI layer. Priestess is always in that corner up there. Because it made sense for hers, because hers is sort of based on a two-dimensional sort of glyph style, so sticking her up there in the corner made more sense. And then Seaweaver is floating around. Seaweaver has his ship, the Afterlife, that rotates around the model, so... Let's see, Priestess, Whitney, Seaweaver. And so that's where they go. But yeah, that's the reward for regulars who are here for, you know, long times and choose to get their daily things every time they're here. That the reward is eventually getting included into the model forever and ever. That's how we roll. All right, so that concludes the Scobalts era. Now, let us tackle another problem of what is it, GIMP? The logo. All right, so logo is in quite the state at the moment, because really we're just doing a lot of experimenting. I'm trying to get the vibe of the logo that I want. I think I have a better idea. I do need to... clean this up. This corner is jaggy. Getting it. It would probably be better if this was much smaller.
A terrifying thing.
Look at all these jaggies. There we go. Okay, so as I was mentioning earlier, I'm contemplating at least in logo, name change. Because the current name scheme of the p0.e, so this. It's like this no longer really makes sense as a reference. So what this initially was back when I was doing the actual AI theme. This was stood for like artificial personality designation 2.71828 2.71828 828 is E. E is a mathematical expression, kind of like pi is just a number. E is actually just a number. But that's kind of a old cruft hanging on that is not really relevant to theming anymore. And so I'm contemplating switching to this. That is probably still being lowercase because it looks wacky as it is. This font I'm not going to be using. So the problem is that I make my name ridiculously difficult to search and using references that almost nobody appreciates. So this is close to a meaningful reference. Technically, this would be a better reference. And honestly, if I'd thought about it at the beginning, this would be a sick as hell name, Foe. Random question. Does anybody in chat know what this is now? Now that this is actually legitimate version of what it is. Does anybody know what this is? This is a valid form of something technology related. Does anybody know? Anybody know? It's okay if nobody does. I'm really just kind of making the point that I continue to curse myself by using references that are so far down the rabbit hole. Does it become any clearer if I add a little bit more context and say it's this? This gives at least a little bit more of a chance for people to know what this is. This at least kind of adds the rest of the context that somebody might know. Does that do any better? It is an IP. This is a validly written IPv6 address. You win the prize. The prize is that there is no prize. But this is also a valid IPv6 address. And so why that is relevant is that as we have discussed previously, the community name is the Eldritch Network. That we are the Eldritch Network. It doesn't come up very often. I guess, stand by the ceremony of, kayfabe, as the term goes for wrestling, and, keeping track of that stuff. I know, Kappa. I really, really know. And it's kind of a crying shame that I didn't think about it at the time and have gone this direction. Now this, of course, is in the format of an IPv6 address. But this is not valid character to be part of a IPv6 address. IPv6 addresses only go up to F because they are hexadecimal characters. They are not alphanumeric characters. And I recognize that I continue to go into more and more complicated names. It's kind of Kappa. Really, the thing is I'm like 35% of the way to being willing to just change the name to Foe, because it's kind of close enough and easy enough to answer to, because it is such a sick as hell name to go with, and it fits the theming perfectly. I'm like 30% of the way there, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. But like, it's pretty great. Also, I would have to then be a lot more antagonistic, I suppose, to fit the name. But anyway. Yeah, well, and that's why I'm just not gonna do it. I don't really relish the idea of name changes. And so now that we have addressed the fact that this is approximately a IP address, and more importantly, these colons represent IPv6 address format, this is why this can't be part of any URLs. This is why I cannot use this as part of my YouTube channel link, because it's partially an IP address. They can't. It's not. It no likey. Which leaves me in an annoying position of essentially probably just leaving the channel address as the p0.e, because I also cannot just use this. It would technically be at that doesn't have a, hold on, let me give me just, thank you. So why is it still tiny? Oh, it's because it's not, okay. At, wow, that sure is still tiny. Still tiny. Still tiny. Freaking A, man. Thank you. So, the @ is how you reference a channel on YouTube, if you're not familiar. That was implemented 2 years ago or so. So this I can't use because it's too short. This is acceptable, but now will no longer match the rest of branding. Oh, that's 1,000. That's why. 100 was not even close. There we go. Now they match. So this is what it currently is at p0.e. I cannot replace it with this. I cannot replace it with this. I don't necessarily know what to potentially change it to if I were to want to try to bring it into alignment, because no matter what it is, it requires me to explain to people what it is. Because I hate search engine optimization, apparently. I hate myself. I hate being found by anything. I could do that. Okay, I'm gonna need all of you to be a little bit smaller so that we can. We're trying to do some demonstrations here, folks. Thank you. I could do this. That is true. Well, and better yet, of course, would be replacing it with this so that we have no zeros anymore, and it's much more straightforward. And honestly, maybe that's what I go ahead and do, because it's certainly a hassle to have the dot. It consistently comes up as a challenge for people to remember and link to me. I would simply have to, like, inform everybody of the channel name change for any links they use. Koala, I recently attempted to play Getting Over It, and I kind of hated every minute of it, so good on you. Best of luck. As I don't do rage games well. They just make my soul feel sad. I definitely get angry, but I also just get bored and upset, and I'm like, I only have so much time. Why am I spending it doing this? Yeah, so I think we might go this route. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Hopefully it will be a little bit easier to communicate to people at Eldritch Poe. It's certainly easier to say. But yeah, then for... For logo purposes, I think it'll be this. Which I think is potentially quite interesting. Because this essentially gives a structure to also sort of label a lot of other things in interesting ways. And possibly incorporate into the logo is the other thing. Because I think I'm going to end up... My expectation right now is ending up with 3 sort of... you know what? I guess I can go over here where I can talk better to chat now. 3 sort of levels of logos. So first and foremost, I have the icon. The logo icon, which is this, which I've had finished and it's around. I expect to have a sort of mid-sized one that is mostly just the name and a little bit of this incorporated into a design I kind of envision in my head. And then I think I'm going to have a full-sized one, which will be all of the, like, the full length of these legs combined with the text. And then I think I'm going to incorporate a display of some of the nodes, right, in a sort of network diagram. And then include some address space, right? Because now with this, I essentially have a structure that I could even do something like, you know, this is the address of Kappa. Or this is the address of Chatbit. And so, like, I have a... Oh, technically it would be this. Yeah, so essentially there's sort of a structure to... a framework, I should say, of sort of logo-fying more stuff, right? It's like the community namespace now can function within this space. And I don't know, I think it's cool to have that. I always sort of set things up like this, making it, like, available to function, but they never really get used, largely because I don't, like, encourage their use necessarily, or put, like, guidance how to use it. Like, that's kind of why I made the bits in the first place, the orbits, because it was a way to be like, here's some easier stuff to make, fan art of if you want. And then now I have a Eldritch Network IP set up. But, like, I don't know. I think a lot harder than is necessary, I guess, is really what it comes down to. And then I don't do any follow through to make sure that, like, those things get used. But I don't know. I still like doing it, so I continue to do it. It's really what it comes down to. It's like, well, I ain't gonna stop.
So, yeah, that's why we're doing this, because now we have an Eldritch IP address. V6, in fact. Eldritch IP V6. EIP V6, I suppose. So then the other thing is... let's get this back on top. We still need a font, of which I have collected many. And I'm kind of realizing that it's a little bit hard to track down all of the fonts that I downloaded because I have deleted a lot of them. I might have to go into my recycle bin and pull out a lot of these fonts that I deleted just so that I can keep track of the names of them. Okay, it looks like I just deleted one, actually. Let me put this back. Let's just put that right on back. So I now have all of these here. Let's see what we've got to work with, and if any of them we like directly, or if we need to start using... if we have to, like, actually art it up and, like, craft, essentially, the logo with some of these, like, stylized font that I have this as an example of. Okay, let's see what we've got. What we have. Number 1, Spire. Spire. NBP. I installed it. Now, where have you ended up?
We have to get away.
Sometimes I don't understand why I can't find stuff in here. Like, they're installed. I assume I installed all of them. To the fonts. Did I install all of them, including this one? Nope. Didn't get that one. Nope. Didn't get that one either. American. I have like a whole set that I did not apparently get installed. Maz. Okay, so I got those. And Eros font. I got that. Alright, well, I guess I'm just going to have to install a bunch of freaking fonts. More options. Extract all to... Yep. Drag this bad boy over here. All extract. There's actually a faster way to do this, I realize. Delete. Show more. 7-zip. Extract 2. Yes, that's faster. F. And then finally Spire. More. 7-zip. Extract 2. Open her up. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. Whoops, I still need that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to close and reopen GIMP to recognize that the fonts exist. Can we save the file, please? Thank you. Close that up. Open it back up. One. Okie doke. Now, Spire. Now we're cooking. I'm very sorry to hear that, Koala.
I'm sorry to hear of your suffering. Hey, Cheddar, how's it going? All right, so that's Spire. I don't hate it. That's not too bad. Then we've got if I can type correctly, Kinishinai. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Just kind of hanging out. Glad tomorrow's Friday. We're working on an updated logo at the moment as I attempt to track down a font. Oh, that's very gothic. That's leaning more into the Eldritch side of things. I do like the diamond style colons, though. I actually don't hate this. The more I look at this, I actually kind of like it, despite its relatively limited tech stylings. I would have to correct this to 0, though, because I would need to add the dash across it to indicate that it's not an O. Corporate Gothic. Oh, yeah, that's, Yep. I understand why I picked that one up. That one is just... That is command prompt if I have ever seen one. Which, honestly, may be extremely fitting. Amaz... Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Crazy. Whoa. What is it? Crazy. Fine. The fine is nice. Inline? Left-talic? That's it. Slanty. It does. Well, and I mean, that's certainly in keeping with the way I tend to... It's like this is extremely similar to how I color things anyway. Is that... Okay, yeah, that's just an outline. So that's just showing the background. I do like that one. I understand why I had picked that up. No. Oh, yes. Eros. Regular? No, Eros. Book regular? There we go. That one's a sort of similar to the other one, but a little bit different. Kind of got a similar, like, sharp angle here. You know what I actually should be doing? I'm realizing what I should do here. Do this. Hide this. Background layer to image size. Fill it in. Spacing can be adjusted, but hold on. We're gonna duplicate. Does that not duplicate? Okay, well, that's a totally different hotkey. Shift Control D. Shift Control D. Let's just get V2. What's the difference between V2 and regular? Oh, well, this is fine. As- I don't know. Oh, you hit your leg on the corner of... That sucks. I guess at least it wasn't your, like a pinky toe. 'Cause that also sucks. Although, you say leg, was it your shin? Wanging your shin is terrible. Spire. We're doing the whole compare and contrast thing here. Corporate. Gothic. Oh yeah, that's the old shin. That's a bad time. That is a bad time. American text. Let's go ahead and hide the icon, and we're gonna lurk our way over here as well. Oop. That's not what I meant. Hey, there we go. Abandon ship to the monster dating game. Good plan, actually. Excellent plan. And then we have... Last one was Spire. Oh no, I already did Spire. Spire, Kishinai, American, Corporate. Oh, it's because I have 2 copies of this in the folder. Eros font. Did I do the Eros? Eros regular. Eros book regular. Yes, this is Eros. Okay. Does that match? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that matches the number of files I've got. Okay. Let's adjust this down a little bit in size so that it is a little closer. Let's make it bold so that it's more legible. That's unfortunate, Cheddar. I hate banging your shin. It's like, it's the worst. It's awful. You really should have considered having more skin there instead of just going straight to the bone. And then this guy, we're gonna make bigger. We're gonna make it bolder. So we can compare a little bit more apples to apples. Okay. Now, how do we feel about these variety of bitlets? Uh-huh. What's jumping out at people? Oh, okay. Let me sneak it over on that side. I feel like I am gravitating more to things with sharper points to them. At least even, like, partially. You know, let's organize this. This. Oh, well, there you go. You. Well, thanks for coming by, Cheddar. I hope you find the opportunity to stop in, but if you don't, I hope you have a good summer, whatever you're disappearing to do. And I hope to see you again in the fall. Whenever you find your way back again, you'll always be welcome, and your Void Orbs will stay good. Okay, so kind of the main difference is we got summer camp thing again. Well, I hope you have fun at the summer camp thing again. Why do I have to select it? Stop this nonsense. Why are you like this? Okay, so we've got sort of square-er stuff. And we've got pointier stuff. We also have some other differences in that we have some that are sort of all caps throughout. Like these guys. This one is all caps but smaller. Which, to be fair, we can also cheat here. The couple of the E's are not small because those fonts simply do not have lowercase letters. They use uppercase sigils for the lowercase characters. But it can be emulated by, you know, doing the whole make it smaller trick. Like this guy does over here automatically. But we can just do that. We can just make that happen. Because I also prefer when the... Okay, I'm gonna start naming these based on the font that they are. Okay. In number 2, so like it would be this one. Okay. Where did why I hit a hotkey at some point that I didn't intend to do, and now there we go. Let me shrink these down so that they are way more workable. So that is something that can be done, because that would be the kerning settings. they can be squeezed together. There we go. This is far more manageable now. There we go. There we go. And of course, we can also do a combination of... Because I do prefer the diamond colons. I prefer the diamond colons over the square colons. Like this guy, I like the diamond colons. I prefer the 3 on the left with the sharper angles. I kind of feel like this is the front runner in my opinion. So if we... Bottom right is the Kishi Knight. So if we take these... I don't know why you're so far to the left here. The mid left. So if we shrink this guy down to the... And we continue to tighten it up. I don't know why the spacing is so goofy on this. Yeah, those guys do weird spacing. I don't know why those do weird spacing. Structures its spacing quite a bit differently, but that's something that can be resolved, of course. That's the American text. Oh, I think it's partially because this is mostly the left kerning. Yeah.
these need to be a little bit. I see what you're saying. I mean, that could technically be resolved by simply turning it into a separate layer and moving it around independently. I mean, that can be resolved. Yeah, this needs a little extra space. Well, and let me see. Kishinai, Kimishinai. Let me work with these a little bit. These are issues. A lot more negative on the right, because these are way heavily weighted on a single direction. It's true. How do we feel about italics? Straight up? Italicized? Probably. Yeah, I also kind of like the italics. New. I can generally get behind that font. Callback question. Uh-huh. How do we get along with this guy? I'm getting along. I feel like it's getting along. Oh, the update voice over Discord. So, I don't know, but the trickery around that is that you can add a delay in OBS. Like, even now, actually, my OBS capture of my own voice is actually delayed by like 120 milliseconds or something, because of the processing time that OBS takes.
on video as opposed to audio. So it syncs it much more closely to add a little bit of a delay to the voice. So you can do a little bit of experimentation on the audio coming through Discord, and then similarly add a offset to accommodate a delay in that to match what the visual model is doing. Yeah, well, it's one of those, like, micro-optimizations that probably most streamers that use a model do not do. But I imagine it is one of the reasons that I often get the feedback that, like, people can even try to read my voice. Like, it matches very closely. They could be the hexagons. I'm not sure if they would look a little flat in the context, actually. But let me grab... Let me copy this out. Let's do an experiment at the least. Well, I mean, you assume that the other stuff is not going to also end up with bloom. So, you know. Everything's gonna likely end up bloomed at some point. Yeah, it does make them rounder. Well, and why this may end up making more sense as well. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Koala. Have a good night. Enjoy your Friday. Assuming it is Friday tomorrow for you and not something else, depending on where you are in the world. Because the other possibility, Kappa, that I haven't quite decided yet, based on all the stuff, because, like, it's entirely possible that what it's going to end up being is that the whole thing is going to get a bloom treatment, probably larger even than this, so that the main lettering is actually the black with bloom. Like, it's strongly possible that that's where it'll end up, which will sort of match the, because it would be, this would make it right, because then now the hexagons fit the same sort of way, you know, because this is the most consistent aesthetic the channel has, right? Like, freaking black with borders. That's the thing we do around here. That's what we do.
Yeah, the just being cyan is mostly just a way to more clearly read this. Well, and I also kind of think that I may sort of convert this. What if I mix the outline with an outline? You're going to have to explain what you mean by that. Oh, I'm on top of chat again. Oh, I see. Mix up which is which. I gotcha. You know, if I do that... Oops. I'm gonna move this over, because I want to be on this side, but I want chat to be visible. We're gonna move chat over there. If I do that, it would likely be the P that I'm going to make different. So the P would probably be maybe an outline, and these... the O and the E would be solid. And why I would make the P the outlier is because the P is the letter that can't actually be part of a IP address. Like, because the P is the one that doesn't belong, I would probably make it the odd one out. Yeah, the Eldritch letter. Which also kind of gives the option of doing more mixing and matching letters, fonts even. Like the 0 and the E could be one font. If you bolded in outline. The problem with bolding on this particular font is it erases the gap. Which is kind of unfortunate. So something interesting that I just thought of is we could actually give the P, if the P is the Eldritch letter, right? We could even give the P more treatment than the rest as well. Not you. The exact opposite, in fact. We could do a little bit of mixing and matching of fonts. Okay, now let us actually give this the treatment. Actually, I take it back. Give me back the cyan. Or not the cyan, the magenta. Magenta looked sick as hell. So, like, we're looking something more like this. See, now that I'm really starting to dig.
The E is too low. Well, I mean, whoops. Fiddling with stuff like that is things that can be resolved down the line. I'm mostly getting broad strokes at the moment. Because prior to this, I just simply didn't really have a vision for what the thing was even supposed to look like. But like this I'm starting to get engaged with. Well, and then also oh, that's why. Come on, man. Why are you so belligerent about this? My guy. No. Freak. There we go. Okay. Hey, Winnie. Thank you. We're experimenting. I don't know why the E does appear to be at a lower height. That can be resolved later. I don't know why it's doing that, though. I mean, it is a different size. So I guess there's some... It's shrunk the bottom size of it. Right. The other reason I was doing this is because another thing that I think I would want to do is emulate this. Probably over here.
Welcome to your new sanctuary.
Because I want this to be clear that it's a 0. That's not actually sufficiently angled. Whoops. Like something along those lines. I'll make sure that it's better than that, but I need to ensure that this is recognized as a 0 and not an O. My ever-present challenge. Well, and honestly, actually... Straight across? What do you mean, like this? That's not how you indicate a 0, though. Go back to what?
Run for your fucking life.
Angle lines? Okay. Like so. Like so. Well, technically, the other thing that I would probably do... Yeah, I was like, that was the other thing that I was going to be doing, was... Well... Oh, I'm on a race.
Watch out. They are coming to fight you.
Yeah, I think that's the right look. Well, and then these would be replaced by more hexagons. Probably. Put a heart by the E. I don't know what may have given you the impression that hearts are in the aesthetic of this channel, but I'm very sorry to tell you, Whitney, that they definitely fall outside of the general aesthetic. I hate to break it to you. Get the cutie pose, yeah. Yeah, so these will probably be more hexagons, and honestly will likely be yellow, perhaps, because that would give me the magenta, the cyan, and then maybe close out with 2 yellow colons. I kind of don't feel like dealing with that at the moment, but I guess I could at least do it here to get the vibe right. I do have the red. Thank you, Scoballs. Yeah, so that's an interesting point, Whitney. So, the hierarchy of color. Oh, you know what? On that subject, actually, I forgot I was going to go grab swatches for the canonical colors. Hold on. Let me go track down one of my extremely old reference images that hypothetically have swatches somewhere. This is a reference. It does not have color swatches. I had one at some point that had color swatches. It's kind of annoying if I don't anymore, because the swatches are useful. I wonder if I put it in the old unbacked up stream assets. No, that's like overlay stuff. Oh wait, avatar images? Do I have... No. Old stuff. Yeah, damn, I actually had a pretty good one. Where was that? Where did that go?
surely I didn't just delete it. That seems well out of what I typically do. Maybe it ended up in just general pictures? Ref? Nope. That was a reference for a different thing. Man. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science. It's just annoying that I have to do this again. I had one that actually had a nice looking, a nice looking color swatch on it too. I wonder if I sent that to anybody. Maybe I can track that down. Maybe I sent it to a friend. Search. Has file. Graph? No. Reference. That's not helpful. As file. File. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Scobalts. Have a good night. Enjoy your Friday. That I potentially made was also going to be long ago, for sure. Forever ago, in fact. Okay. That's too old. Definitely don't have it in this chat. Alright, well. Bummer. Why, thank you, Skullballs. Kind of you to say. Man, that's such an annoyance. I really would like to have that. Oh, maybe if I just search streaming effort for ref. That's not very many references. Nope. Alright, well. Okay, well, it's easy enough to make some swatches. I had some hexagons around somewhere. I have a better hexagon somewhere. There it is. Duplicate. Why do I automatically have you fully selected? I don't mean to be having you selected. Why? There we go. I figured it out. Similar colors. Okay. And then we duplicate that. We move it down. Switch to magenta. Do that. Move it down. We switch to the yellow. Whoops, we switch to the yellow.
duplicate, move it down, switch to red, that one, switch that, move it down. Here's the one that I'm gonna have to track down. I don't remember the actual color code for this. What's gonna be the fastest way to track it down? I guess it would be to open model assets. I can just go directly to the model asset. Assets. Da-da-da-da-da. Yep, okay. Let's open you up. Let's color drop you. And then there. So now you can be gone. All right. Why is this considered untitled? At what point did this become a new image? I somehow transformed this into a new file. I don't know how. Okay. So as I was trying to get to, we have, this is sort of the color hierarchy. I guess I could make these more clear if I move them around a little more accurately. So these two, I consider sort of the primary colors. I have the two primary colors. This is a secondary color. Red is a tertiary color. And this is the gray that's in the sclera. So this is the not black dark color that can be used, essentially. And then there's black. Those are the colors that are used in the model. Red, as to your point, Whitney, did not get categorized as a legitimate color, like, of the model until relatively recently. Obviously, the eye region had always been red, but for a very long time, that was literally the only place that red was used in the model. That's not the case anymore. I've got red in a lot of places now because I found I guess as I sort of matured in the design, I found limiting specifically to the 3 to be restrictive. But to your point, the inclusion of red would not be unreasonable at this point. And so I might want the first colon, this one here, to potentially be red. I see your idea of making sort of like just the bottom ones red to sort of represent eyes. I see that, and I think under some contexts it could be useful. But I think if I were to make only half of them, of either of them red, I'm afraid that they would no longer read as colons, right? They're just sort of arbitrary vertical pairs of shapes or hexagons, whatever the case may end up being, rather than being colon, which is important to maintain the legibility as colons. Because I don't know, Whitney, I don't think you were around previously when I was talking about this format and switching from P0.E to P0 colon E colon colon. And the reason for that, the reference, and the reason that being able to legibly recognize it as colon E colon colon is because what that is barring the P, which is not allowed under normal circumstances, which is also why I'm making the P look far weirder, because it's kind of the Eldritch aspect. The colon P, the something 0 colon E colon colon is an IPv6 address, shorthanded, as you're allowed to do in IPv6 addresses. So it's a network address. And as you know, we have sort of grown into calling the community and the whole thing the Eldritch Network. And so I'm sort of capturing that now in the logo moving forward, and that the name is an IPv6 address, which I think is really neat. I was talking about earlier that it also provides a sort of format for community members to also form addresses, essentially. So my example was, oh my god, it's huge. Let's stretch this out. Oh, it's a mess. Oh, it's an apocalypse. Okay. You know what? We're just gonna make a new one, is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make a new one. Okay. Bro, why are you like this? It just refuses to listen to the things that I'm changing. Please remain like that. Okay, so, well, thank you. So the thing is that this essentially also provides an interesting structure for community members or otherwise to sort of give themselves Eldritch network addresses, right? They can follow to some extent, because this is also now extremely not accurate of an IPv6 address, but it's got the trappings of an IPv6 address. And so, you know, it's like, because now, you know, the community members can potentially have some form of network address for the community, and where that would potentially be useful, why you might do that, I don't know, but I like having the structure in place for something like that. And so that's why the colons are important, and why it's relevant to maintain their appearance as colons. That was a super long-winded explanation of that whole thing, but I think it's neat that I've got these structured as like, you know, network addresses. Hey, Seaweaver. How's it going? How's it going? Who the hell are you? No, I don't think I'm interested in that at all. Get out of here with that nonsense. What are we doing? We are working on an updated logo, is what we're working on. Also relevant is the sort of conversations around official sort of name format for me, which we're moving away from the P0.E to P0 colon E colon colon. But that's really just for writing out in logo and sort of official representation. That will likely not ever really be used to be spoken aside from explaining what the hell it is. It's still just Poe. And I might update the YouTube display name. I don't know if they allow me to have colons in that. They're awfully belligerent about certain stuff. Okay. On the note of... let me see. All these guys... make a new layer group. Toss these in there. Color swatches. Like that. That is correct. The P0.E will no longer be accurate. Though close enough. I also can't be bothered to care enough if it comes up. Okay, so let me see here. No color swatches. Color. Time group. Come on over here. Let me grab this. Top yellow 4. Yeah. No, left yellow 6. Duplicate layers. Pull that up. Here. Down here. Let's see how this looks with the... damn you! Close enough. I'll do it properly later when I actually get it in place. I'm just roughing out at the moment. Oh, not that. Oh, that's the hotkey that does that. Oh, it's because it... yeah, okay. It literally makes it into a new thing. It copies the freaking file, not the damn document, or the layer. How very annoying. Okay, and then we were going to look at these two. And we were going to contemplate changing these to red. What the hell is that? Oh, hey. Hiya? 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 Yeah? Yeah. All right, so this has the actual colors in place now that we're kind of contemplating. That's not quite the same height. I'll have to line those up properly later, but that's fine. I don't need to deal with it at the moment. I will not be P0.E anymore. That is correct. And a large part of that is because the P0.E initially was referenced as a version number when I first made, I don't know, the character, I guess, if you will, if you want to put it that way. The initial naming was artificial personality designation P0.2.71828. 2.71828 being E. So it was a mathematical reference to the number E. But then I kind of moved away from the artificial personality stylings because AI went to shit. And so, I should say, the large-scale marketing of AI went to shit, and now it sucks. So I moved away from that. And so, yeah, so we're moving away from that and potentially renaming the channel address to Eldritch Poe to get rid of the dot, because nobody can find the dot. It's all aboard the struggle bus having a freaking period in your @channel name. And then the new logo stylings with the colons is referencing an IPv6 address, which a P is not allowed in an IPv6 address, but the 0 and the E are, so we're mostly there, which is also why the P looks different in this sort of rough up. It is still a 0. I say, it is still a 0. Which is why this has the dash through it to communicate that it's a 0. 0. Meh. Which amusingly, if you look into disambiguation of this, sometimes people say that they put the slash into O's instead of zeros, and it's like, freaking brilliant. Like, we can't even make up our mind that the slashes go into numbers. Whatever. Yeah, it is still P0E. But as far as the YouTube channel name, it will be POE. And dear God, I hope that it's not so overly confusing, because quite frankly, there is simply no way for me to avoid confusion with the name that I have given myself. I cannot avoid being confusing. So this will mostly be for logo text, and probably if I can get away with the YouTube display name as this. But we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be permitted or not. I haven't tried it. I know that it doesn't work in the @channel name, because it's got colons, and they're like, hey, that looks an awful lot like an IP address. And then YouTube's just like, you can't have that. It's unsupported characters. And I was like, I know it looks like an IP address. That's why I did it. But YouTube doesn't like it. So that's sort of the reasoning behind all of the things in the modest change. It's not a huge name change, just enough to confuse everyone ever. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can't stay the same forever, I suppose. And so then the further intention will be to have, whoops. So continuing sort of the premise. The sizing is a little bit off kilter. But I will do something about that later. So essentially there'll be something like this, except what I intend to do is probably where this is, it'll actually kind of get cut in
like so. Well, thank you, Whitney. That means a lot. I promise we probably aren't going to be going too much, because honestly, my creative juices are starting to wear out, and I'm getting to sort of the bits where I just have to do like a bunch of work to get it functioning as intended. So I think I'm going to do something along this line. Oh, nice, Priestess. That sounds pretty rad as hell. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Yeah, Kappa, definitely the case. I am realizing that I need to add... Can I have nested layer groups? Surely I can. Yes. Okay, cool. I'd like to point out that for some ungodly reason, GIMP did not have layer groups for just the longest ass time. And it was not until GIMP 3 that it added layer grouping. And it has been so tremendously useful. Awesome. Corn, 3 Days Grace. That's fun. I haven't been to a music festival in, like, an eternity. I haven't been, like, to a lot. But I have been to at least 2. Possibly 2. But they were, like, back in college. And they were a good time. To be sure. Okay. Oops. You get in there. So then the other thing that I think I'm probably going to do for the larger sized is I'll probably do a little bit of resizing. But in some capacity, sort of split up and move around these little guys. So this is kind of the taking the broad shape that I intend to work with. So this is sort of getting to more of the shape that I intend. But I think I need to figure out the sizing. And then additionally, the intention will be that there's going to be sort of more stuff to the right for the full size. So I expect that when I do, because I intend to do 3 sizes of logo, and I think the middle one probably won't even have the full arms. It might actually just be 1 hex on each side, and the font, and then just like a little bit more styling that'll need to go into this. And then the full one will have a little bit more, probably a little bit more sort of leaning into the stylings of a network diagram. I expect will be kind of what I'm gonna do to sort of show the network vibe. But that won't necessarily always be used because it might be too big or ornate for use at all times. And so I want to have the options to sort of have the different levels of complexity as necessary. Icon, small, and ornate as all of the sort of options. Because I could also cut it in up from the bottom to sort of match the P cuts pretty freaking hard. So this would be like what? Something like that. Potentially be the thing. But then I also imagine that additional down here. That's way too big, but for some smaller detail font. Because, interestingly, one of the things that, because my logo is not used all that frequently, hold on, let me see if I can actually see it on the mug. Is it? Yeah, you can see it on the mug. Scobolts were here. Scobolts is the only one with a mug, aside from me. Little, I guess you'd call it an Easter egg. So one of the few things that I had specifically requested changed with my current, logo. Having trouble. Where is my logo? Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. So here, one of the things that I always loved that I specifically requested changed, that doesn't come up much, because what it originally said was biohazard, because it's just kind of, tech punk style stuff with random warning style labels. But I actually specifically had it changed to BIOS hazard, which I don't think anybody ever knew about or noticed, but I thought was very amusing on my current logo, and it does classify me as a BIOS hazard. So anyway, that will be lost to the ages. I guess let me pull up the animated version of my logo. We'll have a little bit of a celebration of the old logo, a sending off, if you will, because I never really pull it up large enough to be able to see it. Although the animated version's hard to see because transparency looks super weird on like a video player like this. I really need to pull it up in OBS. I should have it somewhere. Yep, that is the animated version. Whap. I mean, it was a great logo. It was very well made. I do like it. And honestly, I'm not entirely departing from it, I don't think. I'm carrying it forward in vibe, at least a little bit. So. Yeah, I really just need to determine overall the size that I'm kind of working with over here.
on the new logo, just because I need to get things spaced out correctly and starting to fit and all that business. What a nice looking logo. But yeah, BIOS hazard. That's the Easter egg, I suppose. Drinky dink. Okay. Well, we're at about 3.5 hours. And I am out of creative steam. So I think that will be the conclusion for stream today, I think. Well, thank you all for coming and hanging out. We were so productive. We got so much done. Which is great, because I was kind of stuck on the logo thing, so I'm glad that we are unstuck and have somewhere to go. But yeah, thanks for all for coming. It has been great. I hope you all enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend. Because as a reminder, I will not be streaming on Saturday. We've got a party to go to, so we will be out and about doing other stuff. So then it will not be until next Tuesday that we return, but return we shall. And likely we will be back on Final Fantasy IX, assuming Kappa is available to vibe and do the stream thing. And then we'll go from there, I suppose. And if you can't, Kappa, I can always find something else to stream, obviously. But we've worked our way through Doom, so we're now back to the drawing board of finding what we're doing. So look forward to that. Thanks all for coming. Have a good weekend. Have a good Friday. Go get some sleep. Rest well. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Initiating goodnight sequence. Dispersing appropriate dosage of compound 347. Initiating phase 1 of memory calibration. This won't hurt a bit. Just close your eyes.